Evans' three-point shot.
Mitchell hits a powering shot, baby.
The following is a production of the Rough Rider broadcast team, a presentation of Watlington and Shires Productions.
Welcome, live from the pizzeria. It's the Coach Rick Meeks Show, brought to you by Sabine State Bank. Tonight, we look back at the visit from the defending state champions, Center versus Carthage. We're going to learn what we need to learn tonight for the remaining two games, beginning with Bullard this Friday night. The Rough Riders versus the Panthers. But first, we talk to the directors of the award-winning Center High School Marching Band.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the pizzeria. It's the Rick Meeks Show, brought to you by Sabine State Bank. We've got a lot to do today. We have special guests. We'll hear from Sabine State Bank, and we'll get started. We'll be right back.
At Sabine State Bank, you have a lot of things going for you.
McAdams Propane Company is your East Texas propane provider. Josh McAdams represents the third generation of a family that has kept clean, efficient propane running to facilities and farms of the area, as well as to the outdoor kitchens that make life fun. They also have the supplies that make an outdoor kitchen possible. Aware of the community, they have provided a luncheon for the first responders of our area. From the beautiful outdoor kitchen to the important fuel that keeps the engines running, keep your engine running with McAdams Propane and Center. Sandy Cox is a good State Farm agent. Just ask Drake. He knows. State Farm agents in general are pretty cool, but Sandy Cox has the answers to your questions. Like, what's best for me, for my kids, for my business, for my farm? For all of us in Shelby County, those questions can be answered at Sandy Cox State Farm. Welcome to the pizzeria. It's the Rick Meeks Show. I'm Chris Watlington, and this is Christina Smith and Chris Smith. It's not Rick Meeks. See what we did there? That was surprising. He and his whole family and another coach are to your left, but we're going to talk with the band directors here because tomorrow, in less than 24 hours, the playoffs happen for the band, and so we wanted to talk about that. How are you guys?
Hey, we're doing well, I think.
I can't complain. Ready to rock and roll.
And rock and roll and get to bed, because at what time are you opening the band hall in the morning?
We're going to open it at 6:30 then start the whole process.
So I appreciate you guys being here. You could be in your pajamas and relaxing now, so thanks for giving us the time. When I was in band, you went to marching contest and you either made your one or you didn't. We made ones back in those days, and then that was that, and we got ready for Christmas concert. And then somewhere in the late 90s and the early O's, we had, I guess it was the early 90s, NAMBY. And so for those folks that don't know what NAMBY is, you're the president of NAMBY. Tell us what that is, Chris.
Well, NAMBY is the National Association of Military Marching Bands. It was founded in 1979 to help preserve the style. And 4 years ago, UIL decided to pick it up as one of the events, and so it's kind of grown since then.
When I first started teaching, it was still one and done, and then if you made a one somewhere in the mid-90s, you could go to the NAMBY contest, and it was a ranked, right? Was it always a ranked contest?
It's changed a little bit. They used to do a superior award, the Bobby Goff Award, and then they'd still rank the first three. Since UIL's taken it now, it's moved over to their scoring system. So now there's 14 4A bands in our class at the state, and there's no first division now. Everybody's already made their first division. So at this point, there's point totals and 5 judges, and they'll rank them 1 through 14 after the preliminary rounds.
3 judges will listen to music, and 2 judges will focus on the marching.
Okay.
And
and I
they'll rank the bands.
Learned that last year. And so it's weird because for everybody else, there's district, and then there's area, and then there's regional and state. But for you guys, it's region first,
Right.
and then area, and that's what you're about to go to tomorrow, right?
No, this is actually the
This is
state,
the state
military
contest.
marching. It's the state deal.
So
there at Baylor.
there's no
There's no-
intermediate area.
There's no area.
Oh,
for,
okay.
for
There
military
are for
class.
some.
Open class, which is the core style stuff. Then they still do an area and then a state. Military just goes straight to the state if you make the first division.
Okay, so it's if you make the top 3, you're gold, silver, bronze medal, state finalist.
That's right. That's what UIL kind of helps out with that, because you make top 3, then you get a gold, and every student will get a gold medal, and bronze and silver, and get a little bit bigger trophy with gold, silver, bronze emblems.
So what will happen tomorrow is we'll march at 2:30. There's 14 bands that'll march, and then at 5 o'clock they'll announce the finalists, and 5 of those bands will come back and march again, and they'll rank them in the finals.
Okay.
And then
Will it be the same day?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, it'll be later in the same evening.
So you may very well march twice,
Yes.
That's correct.
and you hope to march
We
twice.
hope to march twice. Yes.
And I guess the top 5 will earn points for their school's Lone Star Cup or whatever. That's when you take every contest, athletic, musical, agriculture, academic, and at the end of the year you add up the points, and there's like the ultimate super school.
So they've already, by making it here, we've already got one Lone Star. We'll put it in that way. We've
Okay.
already got 1 point. Now, if you make it to the top 3, I think after that, then you can bump it up to more points.
So it's just a different landscape than what was true just 4 years ago.
Yes,
And
sir.
So if you have a child that was in the band 5 or 6 years ago, you don't know what we're talking about. It's a little confusing. Once you get it, it's not confusing anymore. Well, 2 Fridays in a row, your twirlers haven't performed. Is that right?
No, sir.
At least at the game during halftime.
That is correct. So the night before UIL, we scrap everything and we only do the script for UIL to try to get the band ready. That way they can hear the announcement, know what that's going to feel like, and know what happens. So we don't do the twirling.
And they're in a different uniform too, right?
They're usually in a different uniform. Usually they wear shorts and the band coat. But we don't actually do that right now because we don't have enough pairs of shorts.
Okay.
And so, but the school board actually voted last week and got the band all brand new uniforms. So in the fall of 2024, we're super excited that we'll have a brand new uniform.
Chris, I was in junior high, and we used to make fun of the high school band uniforms in the 70s. You've seen pictures. They were dreadful. And then I think my 7th grade year, we got these new uniforms.
1980.
1980, so that was my 8th grade year.
Yes.
Wow. And those uniforms, with I guess a few additions here and there over the last 50 years, are still the ones we use, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I think Mr. Doyce Grant said Dean Stewart designed that uniform. And it's been the same one. We've used fillers with the growth of the program. We bought a few fillers here and there, but this will be the first complete set.
I've always felt very flattered that the uniform that I wore my senior year is being worn by someone roughly my size and weight today. That may not be true after this year, right?
No.
Yeah, hopefully we get to use the new uniforms.
Okay.
And the new uniform will look a lot like the old uniform, so it's not some brand new fangled thing.
Right.
We just added a little bit of white in the coat, and then other than that, it'll be the uniform that you know and love.
That's wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Is the band ready? I mean, they were ready for UIL, and I know this is a whole different level of competition, but Chris, how you feel about the way they look and sound?
They had a really good rehearsal last night, and went home feeling pretty good about it. So all it's been is working consistency, getting consistent, middle of the foot, middle of the yard line, and they've done a good job pushing through. So we're expecting good things tomorrow.
You perform at 2:30, and you can actually watch it live.
Yes, so if you can't be in the stadium, you can go to easttexastoday.com, and you can live stream the whole contest. I think bands start marching at about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning and march late into the evening, and we're at 2:30 tomorrow.
EastTexasToday.com, or watch their practice in the morning at 7:30 a.m.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm going to do because I'm a true fan. Y'all, thank you for being here, and go home and get some rest,
Yes,
and
sir,
we
thank you.
wish you guys the best.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, everybody, oh, by the way, what pizza did you order?
Oh, we had a Supreme Pizza.
Works.
The
and
Works.
the
It was
Works.
outstanding.
And it was outstanding.
Yeah, very good. And this is the pepperoni pizza that Coach and his family enjoy. But we also got wings. Larry, we'll talk about it here in a second. The man appreciates good wings. So we appreciate, as always, the pizzeria and our sponsors of the night, Bounds Insurance, who brings you the Chaparrals. We're using our halftime sponsors. And East Texas Auto Motor, our halftime analysis. We did the band, got the Deb's Boutique last week, so it was bad timing. But we will hear from them now and send you guys on your way. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, not only am I looking for good insurance, but my grandson's making one of those rock and roll gospel albums. I was wondering if you could find me a good place for insurance and a place for him to record his project.
Fortunately, you just described Buster Bounds and Bounds Insurance and Center. We take our cars for granted, but what happens when they won't start, or they won't run, or they won't turn off, or you get the lights on the dash that say something's wrong and you don't know what to do with it? East Texas Auto Care. It's on Tenaha Highway as you leave town on the left, and they can take care of everything. The trained technicians understand the complicated electronics as well as the engine itself. The Mendoza family would love to take care of you and your vehicle at East Texas Auto. At Sabine State Bank, you have a lot of things going for you. It's a small office, so everybody knows. So many things get started at pizzeria. You start your party off with the pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the pizzeria just off the square in Center.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Rick Meeks Show. It's time for our Neutral Zone brought to you by Center Motor Company. And tonight we sit down with Hector Ramirez as student Rosalind Wright talks to our senior players. So take it away, Rosalind.
There you go. Hello and welcome to Center Motor Company Neutral Zone. What is your name and what position do you play?
My name is Hector Ramirez and I play outside linebacker.
All right. What's the name that your teammates call you?
Usually just Hector or Ramirez.
All right. Which team would you say is Center's biggest rival?
I like Carthage.
And then after Carthage, who would it be?
Probably North DeSoto.
Yeah, I want them this year.
So,
And what's your favorite team, college or professional?
college, probably Oregon. Oregon Ducks.
Well, thank you. You're out of the neutral zone.
Thank you.
Center Motor Company. From whatever angle you look at it, you see Ford. Ford trucks, SUVs like the Bronco, and iconic cars like the Mustang. A legacy managed by Kevin Jones and created by Ray Jones. Center Motor Company on Hurst Street in Center.
All right, everybody, welcome back. That was Center Motor Company that brought us our Neutral Zone as Rosalind talked to Hector Ramirez. Of course, that's Center Motor Company. Kevin Jones down there, again, if he doesn't have it on the lot, he can find it. Even today, even in today's market, you go tell Kevin, I want a black truck with this on the inside, and by golly, in about 2 or 3 more days, it shows up. Of course, I'd like to thank JBI Insurance. That's Joe Bill Matalier Insurance, who's been a Rough Rider backer for as long as I've been around, and longer.
He's been, and not just Rough Rider football, but all the sports all season long. We appreciate that.
Right, and we also like to thank Sabine State Bank, who's our title sponsor for the Rick Meeks Show. We'll hear from them and a couple of other ads, and we'll be right back here live from the pizzeria.
So many things get started at pizzeria. You start your party off with the pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the pizzeria just off the square in Center. Live from the pizzeria, you're watching the Coach Rick Meeks Show. Brought to you by Sabine State Bank.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Pizzeria for the Rick Meeks Show. Of course, it's brought to you by Sabine State Bake. We just heard from them. I'd like to take a minute to talk about the Forge. If you are out of shape, if you're not in perfect shape like I am, then you need to go see Dambert Collum at the Forge, because if you're serious about working out, he will get you in shape.
And just look at me.
Yes.
How well it worked out for me. Now I need to go to the Forge.
Right.
Need to get a little help.
That's right. Well, it's time. Here's Coach Meeks. It's time finally, halfway into the Coach Meeks Show. We actually have Coach Meeks on. So, Coach, let's flash back to Friday, where we played host to the Carthage Bulldogs.
Yes, sir.
I mean, what'd you see? I mean, they're obviously a well-oiled machine as usual.
Right. They have been for a few years now,
Yes.
right? I thought we did some really good things in the first half, and moved the ball well early and played fast and offensively did really well on first down, which is key for us tempo-wise, because we 4+ yards gets the defense moving backwards to where we can get into our tempo and get the ball set, and they had some issues with that. I mean, we were getting lined up, we were moving the ball. We did a really good job at the line of scrimmage on the defensive side early in the game. They struggled running the ball, which is something they had done well all year long. There's just other options in the passing game that we didn't defend as well. But I will say that is a small victory for us from the standpoint of we have not defended the run well up until that point. And so definitely some stuff there that we'll be able to build off of. I thought we did some really good things with our defensive linemen, simplifying some things to where they can react and play and do their job a little faster because they're not thinking as much. So
these are simplifications that will carry on, you think, into other games? They weren't just designed for
No, sir. Yes, they will be carryover. It wasn't anything that was specific to Carthage. It's just kind of an overall thing on both sides of the ball, simplifying a few things just to let our guys go play. And I thought they played well up front, and then we're sitting there and they score on special teams, they score a defensive touchdown, and those are the things there that end up creating separation in a game.
Yeah.
Whether it's Carthage or whether it's this week when we play Bullard, like those are things that are just just kill the momentum in any game. Because they score a defensive touchdown, we move it right back down and score kickoff, and they run the kickoff back. And so every little bit of momentum that we were getting, they were able to neutralize it with a score that didn't happen by their offense, which is it's hard to overcome.
Yep. I think we were talking about this during the game. I think as a general rule throughout the season, we won the special teams battle. I mean, I think if you look at every week, it was either really close. I think we won maybe close, but other times, I mean, I thought our special teams had a great advantage. This was the first game where I felt like that we were in the negative column. And one of the questions we kind of had was we made decisions several times to run the kickoff back where we could have like fair caught it and got it at the 25. Is that something you talk to the players about, or is that a decision that they make or how does that work?
No, those are things that we do on the way out from the sideline. So depending on the flow of the game or where we're at, we'll tell the back men or we'll tell our up backs, which are the second level.
Yes. We just don't get a lot of people that kick it to our backfield.
No, and there's a reason for that.
Yes.
I mean, they're worried about the speed that we have back there and the type of field position that you can get. So a lot of them will just pooch it to one of the up backs, which is really kind of what we're looking at this week. And they're going to try to get their coverage to the up back before we have a chance to flip our protection, and be able to try to get a return. And so, and that's tough because, your frontline guys and your up backs, they've got to see the ball off the tee, they've got to see the flight, and then they've got to get into their drop to block their man. And those are really pretty difficult things to do. And so by the time they recognize the ball flight, a lot of times they're behind the 8 ball in their drop. And so those are things that, we have to deal with on a kickoff return. And a lot of times they're coming to our upbacks. People will not kick it deep. Back to what you initially said, there's been 3 games this year that we've lost the special teams part of our game. In the last 2 years, we've lost it 7 times. And right now, through the last 2 years, we've lost 7 games. And 6 of those 7 games, we've lost our specials teams matrix, which is how we go in and grade it.
Right.
So this year we were a -2 versus North DeSoto. We were a -15 Friday night, and then versus Van the other night we were actually a +1. So that's the first time in the last 2 years we've won our special teams matrix, but actually lost the game.
Oh, right.
So it is a very telling matrix that goes overlooked that a lot of people, don't think they play a big role, and they do.
But not the Rough Rider radio team. We keep up with that stuff, Coach. I mean, I'm just curious about that because there's a lot of yards, a lot of hidden yards. That, if you field a punt and don't let it roll, I mean, all that sort of thing. Well, let's just talk about one other thing because I don't like talking about this, but I mean, I guess we should so we can move on to better things. But I mean, what happened? I mean, we were rocking right along with them. I mean, it was a ball game, and then they're just so relentless. And then the next thing we know, a couple bad things happen, and then it snowballed, and then things get out of hand as they sometimes do. But what changed? I mean, what happened in the critical part?
Where do you think the turning point was?
Well, I think they had 2, 3. I think they were back to back. I know there was a span in there where they went 4 plays and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's tough.
And the issue, and this is what really, really, really good teams do, and this is why they have the success they have. And obviously they don't flinch when things go, go wrong, or maybe they don't feel like they're executing. I mean, we're up 14-8, and then before we score again, it's a separation of 35-6. And like I said, 14 of those were on non-offensive touchdowns. And they don't get fazed by anything like that. They've been in those situations, and they got to where they were, because we were able to run the ball early. And I know we've talked many times on here that our running game dictates what we're able to do down the field. And both the defenses were controlling the line of scrimmage. The issue is they threw the ball better than we did in that kind of turning point of the game. And so that was kind of it. But once we were not able to run the football, in that span of probably the first 6 minutes of the second quarter, is just kind of when it all kind of started snowballing on us, and we weren't able to produce anything and get it moving. Now on the other side of that is outside of Kilgore week 1, they have not given up but about 8 to 10 points a game, and so sitting here saying we didn't do much, but versus a defense that has been as stingy as they have, scoring right at 30 points. I mean, obviously a hair less, but being able to do some of the things that we have done, or that we were able to do, there were some victories in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad. We felt like there was. I'm glad that you did too. Well, we've got more to come, and we'll look ahead. We have 2 more ball games in the regular season, and hopefully a lot more after that. And we also have a special guest that our boy Larry Pierce is going to want to talk to, because something near and dear to his heart. So we'll have a lot more of the Rick Meeks Show live from Pizzeria when we come back.
What sort of thing do you expect from a good coach like Rick Meeks? To prepare you, to make you ready for the game, to make sure that the good times outnumber the bad times, but that when bad times come, you can weather the storm. What do you expect from a good financial planner? Well, much the same thing, so that your family and you get across the finish line on top of the world. That's why JBA Financial sponsors our Coach Talk with Rick Meeks.
JBA Financial, and Rough Rider Football. At Sabine State Bank, you have a lot of things going for you. It's a small...
Hey, y'all got a dirty truck.
Well, then take it to Joe's Car Spa for a spa day.
At Joe's, they make 'em shine.
And they're standing by to work with the community.
They was elected best of Shelby County this year, and it's called Joe's, but it probably ought to be called Reed since Reed Grant owns it.
So, Billy Don, when it's time for your car or truck to have a spa day, where do you take it?
I don't know where.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Rick Meeks Show, brought to you by Sabine State Bank. We're live here from the pizzeria with our coach, Meeks Special, the pepperoni pizza. We've got a Works over there. We also got some buffalo wings. Larry, did you have some buffalo wings?
Yes, I did.
How are they?
Those are some good wings right there. I highly recommend the buffalo wings. They were good.
Yeah. I saw, Coach, you got some of the pepperoni pizza. How was it?
Listen, it was good. We eat here at least once a week in my family.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, we get at least once a week.
All right, salad Larry? Too. I had salad too, man.
Salad, yeah. Larry, you had your normal salad.
Yeah, that's right. It's always good. I went on a good eating bender here tonight, so that's what we did.
All right.
So we get a special guest here tonight, and yeah, Chris said something about it. You know, I do really love girls basketball. I know we really got into it last year, and I know Coach Smith here with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about because getting ready to get the season going. We had such a great a great season last year. Had a big coming together. I think you had Coach brought these girls together. They started believing in your program, started working really hard, and I know we have some good expectations this year. So from last year to this year, how's things looking as you get ready to start the season?
Things are looking good. You can see a lot of carryover from last year. Some of the things that we've kind of worked on. Coming back into this year. Now, the big plus is we only lost one senior last year.
Right.
So everybody on the roster is coming back, and we got a couple of new additions that's going to be joining us. I think that's going to add some good depth to our program. So
right. That's good. You know, I think, you know, you were really pleased with the way the girls played last year. We really had an opportunity to even hit the playoffs last year. You just kind of missed out on some of that there too there. But, I mean, I think the girls were believing in there. And you know, I think we're getting a little bit more speed up and down the floor. We're recognizing each other, talking to each other a little more. That's the communication part of it that the girls got to have. And they're getting after balls out there too. That's what you got to have in girls basketball. You got to be aggressive to the ball. And I think if you could do that, you're going to win a whole lot of games this year, Coach.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And one of the things that coming in last year, we the previous year I think it was 5 wins, so we got it up to 14 this year, which was a pretty good finish. We missed the playoffs, like you said, by 1 game. We were 1 game out of the playoffs, but one of the things that we put a lot of emphasis on last year was just trying to get our skill development up, and I think we at least at a decent position. This year we're putting a lot of heavy emphasis on defense, which was something I felt like last year we lost a lot just because of our transition defense. We weren't getting back fast enough, or we didn't put enough urgency on getting back to slow the other team down. And so some of those games, you know, we lose 12 to 14 points just off beating us back transition. So this year starting out, we're putting emphasis on that.
That's good, too. You know, you got a good post player down there, too. She's got a lot of aggression. So, you know, those girls down there are looking to get back into her. She get any size on her, get a little more height to this year, or how we going?
She looked like she grew another inch this year.
That's good.
You know, she's standing looking at me eye to eye right now.
Right. Oh, well, good.
You know, if I'm telling the truth, she might be standing over me just a pinch. But.
All right. Let's get some basic stuff out of there. So, Coach Smith, why don't you just, for the folks that don't know you, why don't you introduce yourself to the Rough Rider fans and kind of tell us about your background and kind of where all you've been and what your experience is.
All right. Okay, so my name is Kevin Smith. I am an East Texas native out of Marshall, Texas. From Baylor graduate, came out, went right into the coaching world. I used to coach football back in the days, but then I was blessed with girls. So,
I understand that.
My first three are girls. So, you know, so my priorities kind of had to switch it up a little bit. And as a matter of fact, my oldest daughter, she'll be a freshman. She'll be one of those new additions coming to the program. Then I have another daughter. She's an 8th grader at the junior high school. She's going to be a pretty good athlete over there as well. So with that, I've been coaching since 2001 when I first got out. And outside of that, most of it's been right here in East Texas. I came over from Longview. I was assistant coach over there for some years before I came here to take the head coaching position here at Center High School. So
good.
So that's where we are.
All right. So what I like about that is like he's starting a family and starting, you want to be here, set some roots, and let's build a program. That's what I want to hear right there.
So who are our returning starters or returning players that we're going to expect to see a lot of this year?
Okay. So, of course, we have Miss Lanija Johnson. What everybody knows is May.
Yes.
So she's grown a little bit. Look like she's gotten a little bit stronger. But she's playing in her last volleyball game tonight, so wishing her well there. So she'll be coming back. We'll have Gabby Wizenite. She's our sharpshooter.
Yes.
And so right there at the end of the year, she started gaining more confidence in her shot because she's always had a great shot, but she gained a little confidence in letting it go right there at the end of the year. We'll have Kylie Hubbard will be coming back. She was a great defensive presence for us and a great rebounder as well. She was one, she took that part very serious, so that was a plus. She's coming back. And the last year she came off the bench, but it was Tazaria Hill. And she's that little speed demon that come off, and she's going to give some guards. She's going to give them a hard
That's
time.
that defensive player you need right there.
Yeah,
She's going to be tight on right there.
That's right. So she's going to be harassing those guards up there right off the bat. When we got Etniana Barnes, she'll be coming back. She played our post last year, probably moving her to forward a little bit and let Lanija play a little bit more post play. But Etniana, she's coming in, and she's been kind of working on her shots when she just had some free time. And she gained some confidence as the year went on. So she's another plus that we're looking at coming back. So those are the most ones.
Who's going to be our primary point guard or the person that's going to be bringing the ball up the court?
The way it's looking right now, it's probably going to be my daughter. Her name is Journey Smith. She's a freshman. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to get Gabby where she can get to that corner to catch it and let it fly. Mm-hmm. So that way take the pressure of her trying to bring it down and then find the opening to get her shot off. So we'll let Journey bring it up.
Okay.
And so Gabby can get there to the corner.
I mean, your point guard and the person bringing the ball up is so important because if they can't get that done, if the press or if the pressure, it kind of keeps you from getting into your offense. And the years that we have a good point guard, it seems like that translates into success.
Oh, no doubt. Because if you can't get the ball past half court, then you're going to struggle getting some buckets up. But one of the things that I do now, here's a plus for us is that Lanija, even though she's a post, she's got great ball skills. So she'll be a person we'll be able to kind of keep in the backcourt as we bring the ball up a little bit. Just in case it don't work out, we got a great protector of the rim right there.
That's right. That's right.
So it'll be a kind of pick your poison. If you back off and she's got a strong arm, she can pass the court. So.
Yeah, she's probably got a little bit of a skill with like her auntie, who I went to school with.
Did we? I mean, I know we were really good about working on our shooting outside the arc of the three. So we're get a little bit more work on that out there too. Because sometimes that's an important part of that there. Find that wing and just catch and pop out there. And so that's something I think we have, and we have some good shooters.
Yes, we definitely do.
So, Coach, when did the game start? And we got any tournaments or things like that? Where are our fans? They really need to come out and watch these young ladies.
Yes, they do.
Because like Larry said, there was a transition in this from last year where they just got, exponentially better. And it is a fun product to watch. So what do we got?
All right, so we have our first scrimmage coming up. We're going to go in scrimmage Tennehaw. So right off the bat, we've got some
playing one of the big dogs right off the bat there.
And I told them we're not going to huff and puff and drop our head about it. We got to play them, but they got to play us. And I told them that's got to be our attitude. We go into it. And they've got a superstar. We got a superstar. That's they got one. We got one. They got a shooter. We got a shooter. So now it's just going to be a matter of believing that we can go in and compete.
Right, you could go take the tape measure out and say it's 10 foot.
10 feet from the floor to the ceiling. Right. But that's going to be this Saturday at 10 o'clock in Tennehaw. We'll go up there and scrimmage them, and then we'll have another scrimmage on November 1st, which will be the following Wednesday. Now this we're going to have 4 other teams come. Palestine's going to come. That's a good competition.
Yes, sir.
Hudson, no, we're not Hudson, but we'll have Broadus is going to come. Newton will be there, and Tennehaw is going to come back as well.
Right.
So we're going to have 5 teams in a tournament. But a scrimmage on Wednesday. This will allow us to get a good little sample of different styles that teams are going to play. So to kind of have us prepare for whatever we might see. So this Saturday we got Tennehaw, and then next Wednesday on the 1st we've got that scrimmage right here, the round robin scrimmage with those teams.
And those events are open for the public to come watch.
Yes, those will be open. And then next on the 4th, that's when we hit the road. We go off to Rusk. We'll go play Rusk first. Our first home game is going to be against Hudson, just for those who can make it to the home games, and that's going to be on October the 14th. Now, Hudson, I believe, is an old rival. They used to be in the district with them. So that's going to be a good quality game right off the bat.
So everybody hear that October 14th at the Rough Rider Gym. Come out and watch the ladies play.
November 14th. It's a Tuesday, so
or November 14th. Yeah,
we may if not.
No, October.
October
14th.
No, it can't be. We're past that, right?
October. November 14th.
November, thank you.
Yes,
I'm looking up here at the last thing. That's right, November 14th.
November 14th. It's a Tuesday, so, if at all possible, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Yep.
Get the game on that, too. I definitely want to be there. So, I love following girls basketball. I know that the girls work hard and they play hard, and if they get a good program and a good coach to believe in, and they can go a long way, and it's a good thing, and it's a good thing to have the people behind it.
And that's something to smile about, too, because we enjoy watching these young ladies because we know they work really hard. And it's going to – I just think this is going to be a really fun season. I think we've got experience. I think we're going to see another step of improvement, and I'm looking forward to it. And that's something to smile about. That's brought to you by Wyndham Family Dental. We'll hear from Wyndham Family Dental. We'll come back with more of the Rick Meeks Show right after this.
Hazel.
Excuse me?
Hazel, my mouth hurts.
What?
My tubes in my mouth.
Oh, you have a toothache.
Yes, a tubes ache.
Well, you need to take that toothache to Wyndham Family Dental. If it can be done in a big city practice, it can be done at Wyndham Family Dental.
Oh, well, thanks very much.
Oh, we're coming back. Okay.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time to talk some Bullard Panther football. Get Coach Meeks back over here.
Oh, okay. We'll get Coach over.
And we'll see if Chris Wallington wants to join us.
Chris, so you want me out of here again? I can,
But anyway, so it's the Bullard Panthers. We're going to head up there and play those guys. They it's been an interesting development in the district with the Bullard and Brownsboro and those teams. I mean, they've been it's kind of, there's just a huge mix, and everybody's still kind of in it.
Right.
And so, I mean, this is going to be a game. I mean, Bullard kind of started kind of lower. Wallington has some kind of power rankings. I'm not sure I understand how they do that. But Bullard started lower and then moved their way up, and then I guess lost a couple and kind of lost some momentum. But I think this is going to be a huge district game for us. I think it's obviously we got to win it.
Right. Correct. A lot of that is just the product of our district. Like we're in a very tough district. And the one thing that I do look at that I do think has a lot of validity is kind of a power rating system that Max Preps puts out.
Right.
And in the top 20 is us and Van and Carthage. And we have the top 3 power ratings of anybody else in the top 20.
Wow.
And I think that's a testament to our district, obviously, and our non-district games. North Dakota, they're 7-1 or whatever. However many games they've played, it should be it's the same as us because they just don't have a bye week. So they're 7-1, and Dangerfield's still winning. Tatum is winning. It's all that's Spring Hill is now tied for second in their district, and so anyway, I think a lot of that is just the product of our district. And so this is going to be a very competitive game. It's going to be a tough matchup for us, and they bring a lot of things to the table that we've got to be prepared for.
Well, let's start from our offensive perspective. What kind of defense do they run, and what? I mean, obviously it's the same thing. We want to establish the run and then build off of that. But what kind of defense do we expect to see from Bullard?
So they have a coaching change. The coach that was the head coach there last year stepped aside as the AD only, and they promoted the defensive coordinator to head coach. They hired a guy from Alto named Cody Gibson, and he is a 3-3 stack guy. The head coach is more of a 3-2, and so they will get in the stack periodically because that is what the DC likes, but they stay in the 3-2, 3-4 look defensively a lot more because of probably the DNA of the head coach.
Right.
But what that does is it makes them extremely multiple in what they can do. Both of the defenses are set up for pressures.
Yep.
And with the odd front being able to overload one side with the so. Our offensive line, especially in our passing game, I mean, we're going to have to ID a lot of that. Our eyes are going to have to be up. We can't get caught in the lull of the play because they will bring pressure and they will bring it a lot.
That's the thing about the 3-3 stack.
Yeah.
And it was always it's a difficult thing from an offensive lineman perspective because you don't know. You don't know which way they're going to be coming from.
Yeah, it's sort of like whenever you're playing a wing T defense, you got to stay at home watching that wing T. So whenever you're on the offensive side, and that stack is one of those things you got to take that extra second, kind of stay at home and kind of see what's coming at you.
Well, you know it's coming.
Yeah,
you just don't know where.
You
just don't know where.
Yeah, you got to
and
take
you also
that
don't know which
bit.
one. I mean, they'll have two walked up and one comes and the other bails, or they'll both come, or they'll both bail. It's simple, and they go to the extent of what they do with it. They're not vanilla in their defensive front. So they play a lot more zone in the back end than what I do like our matchups if we can get them into those scenarios. But we've got to continue to run the ball like we did in the first quarter and a half the other night. And if we can do that and control the line of scrimmage, then obviously we can kind of control the game.
Yes. All right. Well, let's go to the other side. What does Bullard do offensively?
Well, they're spread. They have started incorporating a little bit of under center offense into their game plan this year with some tight ends. But they'll still like to be in 10 personnel and be 2x2, 3x1, empty. Adam Varnado does a really good job with them. Me and him played college football together. He was a receiver at Northwestern when I was there playing quarterback. So me and him have known each other for a while, and he's done a really good job with their offense. Their quarterback is what makes them go. He was a starter for them last year as a 10th grader. And he's having another really good season this year too. So we've got to get pressure on him. If we allow him to just sit in the pocket, then they're really good at what they do in the passing game. So we've got to be able to get pressure on them up front with our defensive line and with our linebackers.
How did just real quick, Coach, how did last week against that Carthage defense gonna work towards you guys looking at this week what you're working on? Is it going to be advantageous for you guys for what you've seen from last week to help you into this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always it should always be advantageous, no matter who the next opponent is as long as we continue to, build off of what we're supposed to do. And so, I think we did a lot of good things in the run game early last week. I thought we were physical in the line of scrimmage. I thought we played with really good tempo. When we were able to get the ball moving, like they struggled getting lined up in the defensive line. They were trying to sub. Their guys were winded. Like we were in a good spot. I felt really good about it. And so if we just continue to build off of that, then we should be okay. But yeah, I mean, from week to week, everything should build off each other. And that's just I mean, the way it kind of works, right? I mean, that's the way it should work. It shouldn't matter who we play and then who we move to next. Our kids have, and that's the tough thing with teenagers is getting them to not be bored in the detail. I mean, the game of football is blocking and tackling. Like it's not any more than that. It's blocking and it's tackling, and how you accomplish that can be done a bunch of different ways. There are as many schemes as you want to come up with offensively and defensively, but they all center around the same thing. And we've got to keep them into those details, doing what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do them, so we can continue to get better.
Right. Well, Coach, if you don't mind if I ask you real quick, I mean, all around here we all know Carthage is another thing, but, how do you start to build – because they've had to build that from – so now you're here, you're building this family, you're building this thing, and you got these kids that are going to have their brothers come play football for you. How do you start to get that? Because that's what you got to do. You got to get that program like that everybody talks about. I mean, can we start now? We're starting now here in Center because we want that just like everybody else.
Correct.
I mean, we're working, but you got to have those kids believing. And I think that's where we're starting to go to.
Well, I agree, and and it's not an even comparison, right?
No,
I mean, we're on year 3, and Scott's on
10 or 12.
year more than that, almost 17.
17,
what 06 was his first year, or 07 was his first year. So it's not the same.
That's the way we have to build that.
I mean, how much better would we be if Bussy played for us? And you got 3 guys, maybe just pick a guy from Shelbyville and a guy from Timpson or 2.
Right.
I mean, and so, there are certain advantages. Look, I think
But that's what I'm saying. Is,
I think Surratt
we're starting to build that. You're trying to.
Yeah. I mean,
But we don't
he's an
also
incredible
have that.
coach, but he has certain advantages there. But that's what I was talking about last week, Larry. I don't know if you heard. I think, and again, I think Rick Meeks is the guy. This is let me finish my thought from last week. Rick Meeks is the guy to get us because we are a respectable, competitive this football team, that a good football team. But we see up north, that team up north, we see what championship level is.
Right.
And that's the next step to get it into there, to get that relentlessness, to get that when things not worry about when things go wrong, you fix them. But we're well on the way. I mean, you see it developing. I think that's what you're asking, right?
Yeah. Basically, I mean, we're working on that. I mean, it's just like I was saying with my coach. I've got my St. Augustine hat on, and I mean, they're trusting the climb over there. I know what they've been through the last 3 years, and it's like Coach Martin. He's on his third year, and I know where that team is going to go.
Right.
And you guys are going to go that too. And I'm not saying you got to be like Carthage or whatever, but I mean, you want to get into that kind of everybody. Hey, center comes out of there just like they would say Carthage coming up. I mean, that's what you want, and I think that we're on that way. But like I said, we got to trust the climb, and we're working on it.
And there's other teams like that in our region. I mean, Gilmer's that way, Pleasant Grove's that way. Not all of them. They obviously haven't won the state championships that Gilmer or that Carthage has. The deal is first is making sure everybody is paddling in the same direction, and if they don't want to, then that's okay, but they need to go do something else with their time, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But we've all got to be working in the same direction. That's coaches, that's kids, that's community. Once that happens and the success starts happening, we've talked about this a million times on here already, but what are our kids so in tune to? And that is social media. People are going to see that. They're going to see the success we're having. They're going to see the facilities that we have. They're going to see the things we do for our kids, and then guess what? They want to come be a part of it. I don't always agree with that, but that's
how it is.
That's our world right now.
Yeah, that's where it goes.
And that's where, Coach Surratt, they have people that want to come be a part of that.
Yep.
That's just a tip of the hat to him of what he's developed and what they've been able to build and what they've been able to do. People are going to go do that. It'd be the same here. We get it going in the right direction. People are going to want to come be a part of it, and
But Coach, I think you've got the template for this is in your pillars.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I think that's something to smile about too, folks, and that's what I like about one of the many things about your program is that we have this template, we have this recipe for success,
right?
And no matter what the situation is, you turn back to those things and say this is what our program is about.
Yes, sir.
And I think that gets us there ultimately.
That's right. And it's a way that we can be intentional about all of it, because you can have things on the wall and you can say things here or there, or you can read something and tell the kids and then not ever mention it again, and that doesn't do anything. But when you're able to be intentional about the things that make your program successful, then that's when you can build the foundation. And I think we're definitely there.
Right. Yep. We got to get Coach out of here. I know we've been
That's right.
running him long here.
Hey,
tonight,
something to smile about real quick.
Yes.
Osman Solomon qualified for state today in the cross country.
Awesome.
Oh,
Good job.
I
saw they were running.
He is headed to the state meet.
Awesome. Yeah.
He will run Saturday, November 4th is it Peddlers Park in Round Rock?
I think so.
I think is the name of it.
Yeah.
I know it's in Round Rock.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to throw that out there for him.
All right, everybody. Thank you, Coach.
Yes,
now
sir.
You got to get going, but thanks to our game sponsors who make the Rick Meeks Show possible. That's Sandy Cox State Farm, Reed Grant at Joe's Car Spa, and McAdams Propane. We'll hear from our group sponsors right now and the pizzeria as we get ready to close out the Rick Meeks Show week number 9.
Yeah, there you go.
Sandy Cox is a good State Farm agent. Just ask Drake. He knows. State Farm agents in general are pretty cool, but Sandy Cox has the answers to your questions. Like, what's best for me, for my kids, for my business, for my farm? For all of us in Shelby County, those questions can be answered at Sandy Cox State Farm. Rough Rider Football is brought to you in part by McAdams Propane Company. Gas up your engines with McAdams. Joe's Car Spa. With Joe's, clean is easy. Yard Birds, the finest barbecue right at the city limit sign on Tenaha Highway. And Sandy Cox State Farm. Like a good neighbor, Sandy Cox is there on Tenaha Street.
So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the Pizzeria just off the square in Center. Live from the Pizzeria, you're watching the Coach Rick Meeks Show, brought to you by Sabine State Bank.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Before we close up the show, you need to know about the Fry's food truck. I had
and the
some poutine.
Be careful, Larry Pierce.
Yeah, it says you have to be careful with that word, but that's what it is, and it's everything you want. It's
Pierce,
cheese, potatoes,
you should have seen something. The look on Wallington's face, because he was doing this ad during the game the other night, and Rob Payne.
He said it's Canadian.
It's not Canadian.
Well, what is it?
But it's French.
It's French.
It's
Canadian is
right.
French.
So then he's probably right, and it just irritates me. I can never tell him anything. But
that was surprise. Look, Rob doesn't surprise me that often, but when he's like, "Oh yeah," I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
He must have been working one day and said, "Well, I'm going to try that," and just stopped.
It won't surprise Rob Payne, but it's probably going to surprise you with some of the things that they have. Find the Fry's food truck. Check them out at the White Cottage, at Toledo Automotive, at Tractor Supply, and other special events around the county.
Yeah.
Okay, and also to Sabine State Bank and Pizzeria for this is fun. This is a good way to spend Tuesday night. We appreciate those two groups for making it happen. So, Larry, where will Don Wall be this weekend?
That's what I was checking to make sure, but I do believe he's going to be in Timpson ball game coming up. Don Wall is going to be there for that one, and that was as Timpson gets ready to wrap up the rest of the season. I'm making sure I'm right. Yeah, Shelbyville is going to be where he's going to be. Timpson's going to be in town, so yeah, that's going to be good there. Shelbyville was a good win last week.
Yeah, and where will you be?
I get to go to Garrison, and right now the Garrison Bulldogs are almost them and Timpson are. I tell you what, that game next week between Garrison and Timpson, I sure wish I could be there to watch that one.
That's the last one.
That's
right?
the last game. That's going to decide that the district right there. I still think Timpson will win it, but man, what a good game it's going to be.
And you'll get to see Garrison, so you'll kind of be able a week from now to kind of scout it out and do some predictions.
And so my Wolves, as we talk about it, they're trying to get to a playoff as another goal here, and we lost a tough game to Shelbyville last week, and give it to Shelbyville, they did a great game. But if we can I got to be a Joaquin Rams fan this week. I got to get Joaquin to beat West Sabine, and then next week I think Shelbyville can beat West Sabine. If we get Grapeland at the end, if we get one of these two, then maybe we can backdoor away into that 4th spot.
Okay.
We'll see.
So
it's a long shot, but we're still praying.
Still
and
in it. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got something, Chris Wallington.
All right.
So, me and other high brass at the Net SN, we've been in heated negotiations with the UIL to be able to continue to cover center football games in the playoffs and do it for free, where you don't have to subscribe to that website.
Remember last year you had to pay to see it, and
so we're working on doing that.
So we've had some hard-fought negotiations, got some concessions out of the UIL, where it looks like we're going to be able to continue to cover the Rough Rider games without having to go into the subscription. Now so that's good news for all the folks that are watching that don't want to have to pay to watch the Rough Riders. Right. But there are going to be some additional costs associated with that. So we may be looking for a couple additional sponsors. If you're out there and you're watching and you want to sponsor or help us provide these games for free to all the people that want to watch, contact one of us and let us know, because it's a great way to advertise your product or your service. We have a really large viewing audience.
2,000 people watch the Carthage game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think we'll be in the 3,000.
And I highly recommend getting the app and checking it out. And because coming up here, like we were talking with Coach Smith about it, I'm serious. We're getting ready to get on some basketball. I started getting some schedules together. And NetSN is going to be where it's going to be, and we're going to have a bunch of basketball.
We kind of take a break and we get to basketball in January. I don't think we're going to do that this year. I think we're going to start hitting basketball as soon as we can, because why not? That's fun too.
And as soon as basketball is over, baseball, softball, You know,
Don't
and then
forget
we'll also have
soccer and
We'll have
tennis.
the tennis.
Soccer,
tennis
tennis.
is in there too. So we have all that stuff, and we've even got some teams now that as part of the NetSN family, we're showing some volleyball as well.
Right,
So,
yeah.
and
we
that's
haven't
going
done
on.
that yet.
Yeah,
but
we
you
haven't.
can-
But
and wrestling?
Yeah, wrestling. Yeah, wrestling too. I don't know if it's about the high schoolers. I think it's.
I think it's professional
Professional
wrestling.
wrestling.
Oh,
Those
is it?
guys. Yeah, just talk about off the ropes. That's what it is. It's a podcast
Oh.
about wrestling. But and another thing too, we're getting ready to. We've
Okay,
been talking
never-
about it.
Hey, Larry, I bet you and I could host a wrestling
We
show.
definitely
Professional
could. I could be
wrestling,
Jerry Lawler.
baby.
I could be
And
Jerry Lawler
I'll
like
be
you
at
and
the
Bree.
house.
But another thing too is we've talked about is
Hey,
those
I
guys
just saw.
here.
I watched the vignette from the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes today. Hard times.
Hard times.
Hard times,
There
baby.
you go. But
I
another
haven't
thing we've
seen
talked
that
about
yet.
too is we're going to start our own little podcast. We've talked about doing our own podcast here with us about some of the things on over here to the far east side, the Piney Woods little thing or whatever, about some things. So we talked about doing that coming up as well. So,
Lots of cool stuff on it
from
coming
us
up.
here. Still yet.
Where are we going to be?
We're going to be in Bullard, Texas.
How far is that?
That's not as far as Canton, not as far as Van, but
Not
still,
quite as far as Tyler.
Not as far
little
as
further
Anahuac?
than Rusk.
it's a
Little
pretty,
further.
good,
Okay,
pretty
there
good
we
drive.
We
Hey, I
slated
even
to
took
have a
Rusk on the win
special
last
guest.
week, and Rusk got the win. Okay, go ahead.
Are we?
Slated to have a special guest.
Oh yeah, aren't you supposed to?
Color
Aren't you?
commentator.
He's coming. He's going to be on. Oh, that's great.
Do we tell her we're going to make them wait?
No,
and
we're
see?
just going to make you wait.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's not me, unfortunately. Thank goodness.
If you like wrestling, I'm just kidding. But we hope you enjoyed the Rick
Flair
Meeks
is
Show.
gonna be there.
It's live from the pizzeria, brought to you by Sabine State Bank. Thanks to our band directors for
That's what I
joining
said
us.
after those
and
wings, man.
good
sorry,
luck
man.
tomorrow, band. I hope that you do as good as you can do. 2:30 o'clock on East Texas Live. Mm-hmm. Is that what it was?
Yep.
East
I think
Texas.
that's
East Texas Today.
East Texas Today. That's it.
I think that's what it was, East Texas Today. And you can watch the whole contest, but Center should go up 2:30. And, of course, Steve Waters at Sabine State Bank and Phil and the group here at Pizzeria, we thank you. Join us Friday night. The Cornerstone Therapy pregame show starts at 7 o'clock. We're going to visit with Coach in the JBA Coach Talk. We're going to visit with a player. I'm not exactly sure who in the neutral zone. We still have several seniors we need to talk to. And then at halftime, we'll have the band. They will be finished with contests, and they'll be kind of relaxed and letting it flow, and that'll be brought to you by Deb's Boutique. And then the Shelby County Sweethearts brought to you by Bounds Insurance. And then East Texas Automotor will have the halftime analysis all the way through to the Wiggins Farms postgame show, where we'll talk about our play of the game from Dairy Queen and our Center Motor Company player of the game. And for the first time this year, I did most of that without looking at my script.
Nice.
For Larry St. Augustine Wolves, come on, ref. Here's for the counselor, Stephen Shires, and for our producer, Scarlett Shires, who makes this whole thing tick.
Triple S.
We'll talk to you again on Friday.
At Sabine State Bank, you have a lot of things going for you. Three-point shot. It's
Powering shot, baby.
Red Horse takes it to the house. This has been a presentation.